Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, we're talking some boxing. First of all, before I even begin, I have an apology to make to 68, uh, 68, well, I remember 68 Sports TV, 68 Ode to Wisdom, scrapbook Ode to Wisdom. Man, you was absolutely right about Devin Haney. He's not ready for Lomachenko. He's not ready for Lomachenko. I'd even say he needs at least one fight before he even faces Luke Campbell. Because I'm going to tell you the main reason why I say this. Devin Haney does not keep his composure. All right? He got skills. And he showed those skills. But his composure was not kept. And he repeatedly tried to do the same thing over and over, which is throw the overhand right after the jab. I just didn't understand it. He looked like Deontay Wilder in there. You know, and he was touted as the second coming. He's overhyped. I went on the hype train. I was wrong. You're 100% correct, 68. I cannot really. I have nothing I can say. I'm wrong. So we'll go through first of all Devin Haney, and we'll match it up with KSI versus Logan Paul. So Devin Haney was facing an opponent from the Dominican Republic, who boxes out of Puerto Rico. The kid got some skills, but he's not on Devin Haney's level at all. First of all, they started fighting, and Haney was assessing him and so on through rounds 1 to, I think it was 1 to 2. Then Haney began to land punches on the kid, but the kid would counter him. He would counter him with his right hand. Counter him with the right hand mostly. Haney made the adjustments. And then after that, in round 3, he started doing the right thing. He started walking the guy down. And he started walking the guy down because the guy cannot fight on the inside. He just can't fight on the inside. He have no inside game. And Haney was using feints. His father told him, don't try to load up on the punches. Just try and touch him. So Haney was doing the right things. He was walking the guy down. He had figured out how to get on the inside. And he was hitting the guy to the body. And in the 4th round, he was able to drop him with an overhand right. Call him a left hook, overhand right. Or right hand, left overhand, left hook. I can't remember, but he dropped him. After Devin Haney dropped him, it was about 10 or 12 or 10 seconds left. He tried to get him out of there. He was catching the guy, but he couldn't get him out of there. The very next round, Devin Haney starts throwing bombs. And he wouldn't stop throwing bombs for the rest of the fucking fight. He put all leverage into every single fucking punch. He loaded up on everything. I was hoping his father would tell him, don't load up like that. And he abandoned. They were jabbing or whatever. But from there on in, this motherfucker just kept on loading up and throwing. Okay? Loading up and throwing. And he looked ordinary. He looked like he wasn't fainting, nothing. He wasn't fainting to come inside. The guy resorted to surviving, right? But the guy was longer than Devin Haney, about 5'11". It looked like he had a long reach. It was longer than Devin Haney. Devin Haney would slip the jab, whatever, get to the inside. There was certain rounds where he did some good work on the inside, but for the most part, Devin Haney was just trying to just bulldoze the guy, just coming straight through the front door. He's not trying to step around him. He's not trying to pivot. In fact, I fought Devin Haney for the entire fight. He literally tried to come straight at the guy. He tried to come straight down the center. He stood directly in front of the guy. And I was like, man, use your footwork. Use your pivot work. And from when I saw that he wasn't using his pivot work and he wasn't using his footwork properly, I said, man, Vasily Lomachenko will eat you alive, bro. Vasily Lomachenko lives off of footwork. And if you don't have the footwork to match Vasily Lomachenko's footwork, if you can't pivot around Vasily Lomachenko so that you keep him from going weak side, he would just destroy you. You saw what he did to Nicholas Walters. So anyway, Devin Haney, he got the better of the guy. The guy didn't really make any necessary adjustments to Devin Haney. He was going southpaw at a certain point in time. Devin Haney at first, when he went to the southpaw stance, Devin Haney had to get accustomed to it. But he got accustomed to southpaw, so the guy came back orthodox. But honestly, Devin Haney, he almost looked like Teofimo Lopez in some respect. He didn't get tagged as much as Teofimo Lopez, but he couldn't figure out how to get to the inside of the guy without the guy tying him up. And it was really simple. He was so gung-ho to knock out the guy that he forgot his game plan, and he forgot to feint. He forgot not to load up on shots, just touch the guy. That's how he got the guy the first time. Touch him up, touch him here, touch him there. Use your footwork, use your angles, and you would have dominated this dude. You would have got him out of there. This guy was to be gotten out of there. Yes, the guy is a top contender. He was a guy that was supposed to be in line after Devin Haney to get a shot at Vasily Lomachenko. But at the end of the day, Devin Haney, I mean, he squandered his opportunity. I have nothing else I can say. Now, he definitely dominated the fight. He won the fight, hands down. But this was a guy that he could have gotten out of there if he just feint a little bit, you know, just kept his composure and break the guy down some more. But he didn't do that. He was trying to bum rush the guy. He was trying to rush on the inside. He was coming straight down the middle. He was throwing a whole set of telegraph right hands. He looked terrible. He looked terrible. And while, you know, he's athletic and all of that, and he was quicker than the other guy, it still looked terrible. And especially when a guy's holding you on the inside, there's a way to keep the guy off of you. You want that guy coming to you. At a certain point in time, the guy was walking down Devin Haney, because Devin Haney was expending a lot of energy, but not getting the results for what he was expending. So, 68, I have to apologize. This guy is not ready for Lomachenko. Lomachenko is a guy that keeps his composure. You know, is a guy that paces himself properly, is a guy that makes the most out of his shots. He makes his shots count. And against Devin Haney, he would have definitely won the fight. He probably wouldn't have dropped Devin Haney because Devin Haney's tough, but he definitely would have outboxed him, tagged him up. You know, especially with the Devin Haney I saw after the knockdown. The Devin Haney before the knockdown was, you know, he was doing all right. And it was kind of tit for tat kind of thing. But Devin Haney was getting the advantage, the leverage. And he realized, I need to get to the inside of this dude. He was trying to box him on the outside, realized that wasn't working, so he was trying to get it inside. But the thing about it is, though, while he made those necessary adjustments, while his father gave him good advice, after he knocked down that dude, all sense and common sense and boxing skill went out the window. And all he was thinking of doing for the next 8 rounds was trying to crash the dude. And he was loading up on his punches. I mean, you can't be doing that shit at the highest level. So, this is what my verdict is. Devin Haney got the WBC belt. He got gifted the WBC belt because he was never going to win that fight against Lomachenko. He never was going to win that fight against Lomachenko. Right? Not with that attitude. He got all the skills in the world. But he does not make smart decisions with what he does with those skills. He was making smart decisions up to the point where he knocked down the guy. After that, everything went out the window, in my opinion. And he's just not ready. He's not ready. He's too immature. You can't be loading up on every single punch. Not even Floyd Mayweather, when he was dominating his opponents early in his career, was loading up on his punches. You wouldn't load up on your punch. You let the punch come. You may be quick, but you don't load up on your punch. You stay sharp, but you don't load up on your punches. And so, you know, he's progressing as he should. They need to match him up, keep him progressing. You know, this is a learning experience for him. This is a challenge, but he is not on the level that I thought he was. He's not. His decision making is atrocious. You know, he was thinking so much about KO that he just threw everything out the window. The guy wasn't touching him. You know, he was catching him here and there with a jab or so. The guy wasn't touching him, but at the same time, you know, he could have touched that guy a lot more. And the guy was a little bit elusive. What are you going to do with Lomachenko? Lomachenko's much more elusive than that dude. And where was his footwork? Where was his footwork? He should have been in position. He should be coming off of angles. He didn't do none of that shit. He just came straight down the middle. You know, all his footwork, everything went out the window, right? All the skill, all the footwork, all that. When he was breaking down the guy in round 3 and round 4, we saw the skill and footwork. Realized he figured out the guy. But then after that, he just threw everything out the window and tried to crash the guy. And that was just so, I was like, man, I can't believe this. This dude doesn't keep his composure. He lost all his composure. It was sad. The guy won the 6th round. You know, the judges didn't even give the guy a round, but the guy won the 6th round. He came back really well. And then when he realized that Devin Haney was landing body punches, I think it was in the 7th or 8th round, Devin Haney was successful at landing body shots. He started clinching up, and he was in survival mode. And I know when you're in survival mode, it's hard to knock a guy out. I get that. But all you got to do is throw in a fucking feint. Don't just go directly down the center. The guy recouped a long time ago. Devin Haney would get a punch in, or he would miss, and the guy would just clinch him up. So he wasn't going to get, he was not going to get 2-3 punches in. So what do? You feint as if you're going to go in, right? The guy's going to probably throw a jab or something. You counter the guy, you slip to the side, weak side, and if he's trying to grapple you, you use your forearm, for God's sake. You saw Canelo do it with Kovalov. You forearm the motherfucker off, and then you crash him. I also saw Josh Taylor do the same thing. You know, I just couldn't believe this. And the footwork, you know, he has growth. Devin Haney has good footwork. So what the hell is Devin Haney doing coming straight down the center? He almost look like Manny Pacquiao in there. In fact, this is my segue. He reminded me of KSI. But KSI at least was doing, yeah, he reminded me of KSI. A guy who has not been spending all of his career in boxing. Devin Haney was diminished to KSI. Okay? And yeah, KSI slapped more with his punches. The overhand right was more slapping. But the point is, Devin Haney was doing exactly what KSI was doing. So he couldn't land on his target. And to me, I was like, man, at least, come on, man. Bill Haney, you should be talking to Devin about this. You should have make him make the adjustment. Devin so was busy wanting to get the KO that he did not get the KO. So a fight in which he should have easily beat this guy and got him out of there. Okay? He had the opportunity, I think, in the 6th round, and he took the 6th round off. Right? You can't be crashing a dude the entire fight. If you're not succeeding at landing punches on the dude and you can't crash him, then what do? So he has a lot of work on his game, especially in terms of decision making. I think he makes poor decisions. You know, he thought he got the guy out of there, and for 8 fucking rounds, 8 rounds, this motherfucker be trying to knock this dude out. You don't ever go for the knockout. You box what you see in front of you. You keep your composure. You break the motherfucker down. So I really was not impressed with Devin Haney for this fight. He was doing great up to round. I saw when he latched onto the guy, he figured out what he needed to do. And then he started doing the things he was supposed to do. He started feinting. He started staying right on the outside. He would dip, you know, Floyd Mayweather and Jeff Mayweather would do that head movement, beautiful head movement he did. And he'd come inside with the left hook or with a spear jab. And then he worked the body. It was beautiful what he was doing. And then he put the high guard up. You know, as soon as he get close to him, he put the 2 guard up. And he still work off the 2 guard. It was looking good. And then all of a sudden, this dude abandoned everything he knew. He was still boxing good on the outside and all of that. But it's as if he had a puzzle. He couldn't get on the inside with the guy without the guy lucking him up. And he couldn't understand. All you got to do is the same thing he was doing all the time. You keep on walking to the guy. You're walking him down. But using your jab, using your feints, using a lateral movement. He used no lateral movement. He just stood right in front of the guy. It was only when he was when Bill Haney told him, don't just touch him with punches. He started using lateral movement. And we know he can use lateral movement. I've seen Devin Haney box. So it's just poor decision making, lack of composure. This guy needs to work on his game, especially in terms of how smart you box in the ring. He's not boxing smart. He decided he wanted to be like Sugar Ray Leonard and all his past greats, and he just started teeing off on the guy. And then the other thing that really got me was, I like that he was going to the body. I like that he was going, but he's still getting countered up top. Yeah, I saw he was riding the punches, but nonetheless, I saw he was getting countered up top. And I know the guy's a counter puncher, but you can't do that shit with Vasily Lomachenko. You just can't do that shit with Vasily. Let me apologize to Vasily Lomachenko. You got the franchise belt. I see what happened. You have the experience. He didn't have no fucking experience. And I want to apologize to Vasily Lomachenko, because of Vasily Lomachenko, you not know Lomachenko, you ain't ducking nobody. You understood and had the foresight to see this kid was still green. Very, very green. And I'm going to give Lomachenko his props. You know, I want to apologize to 68 as well again, a second time, because 68 was right. This kid was not ready for Lomachenko. Okay? And it's not that he don't have the skills to beat him. It's that he got poor decision making. And, you know, this kid got up to the point where he dropped the other kid. Okay, he dropped him. And I don't know what happened, but this is the problem with boxing. See, this is what I try to tell these boxing fans. It's not about power, okay? He dropped the guy. Yeah, he caught him with a big shot too, but it's not about power. It's not about throwing as hard as you can. All right? And everybody was talking about Vladimir Klitschko, Sergey Kovalov, how, you know, it was a fixed fight. Well, look, Sergey Kovalev's strategies what kept that other guy in the game. He was using his jab. He was pivoting and giving Devin Haney different angles. Devin Haney wasn't doing no fucking pivoting. All right? He thought he was just going to go in there and mow that guy down. Okay? Also, I got to give kudos to Paul Logan. Paul Logan boxed a very good fight as well. Kept his stamina pretty good. He's definitely is the better, sharper boxer of the two. The problem with Paul Logan is he tasted KSI's power, and KSI, he got a wild-ass slapping right hand that he throws over the top that he knocked down Paul Logan with, but he didn't get the knockdown. Okay, Paul Logan knocked him down as well, but he got penalized 2 points, so the referee kind of evened out everything. But at the end of the day, KSI did win this fight. He won most of the rounds. The fight I was looking at, the commentary team was saying a whole bunch of shit because I guess they were favoring Paul Logan. But KSI was doing great work, especially the jab to the body was really working for him. The rights to the body. When he could get on the inside, he threw left-right combinations. He didn't get on the inside very regularly. He was walking Paul Logan down for most of the fight. Paul Logan was using that jab. The jab was effective at keeping KSI off a bit from Paul Logan. His beautiful little uppercut, which is what most of our boxers have. Off of the jab, they throw an uppercut or a right hand, or 1-2 or uppercut. He caught KSI with a beautiful uppercut. It stunned him. And then he held his head, and he hit him another shot. And then when he was his feet hit the canvas, and he was on the ground, he hit him another punch while he was down. And that shit is what messed him up. And the referees penalized him for that. And because of that, Paul Logan did not get the knockdown. He got the knockdown. Then they penalized him the same 2 points, deleting the knockdown. So neither knockdown. Whereas KSI was supposed to get a knockdown, Paul Logan. So KSI was going to win that fight anyway. I thought that Paul Logan came back in the next round pretty good, which was round number, I think he knocked him down. KSI knocked down Paul Logan in round 2, I think it was. And Logan knocked down KSI in round 4. Logan came back in round 5. I thought Logan took round 5, and I thought KSI took round 6. And I thought KSI took most of the rounds. 1, 2, 3, and 6. 1, 2, 3, and 6. He took 4 rounds, just like the first fight. I thought he took 4 rounds, and I thought Logan took 2. But Logan is the much more technically better boxer when it comes to jabbing. Well, not even in terms of jabbing. Logan had a good jab, unappreciated jab by the commentators. He also had good head movement. He also was able to bob and weave, get to the inside, slipping and move in. And just a lot of good things. He was rolling punches and stuff. He was doing a lot of good things, but there's sloppy ass overhand right. Even though he caught him with a chopping overhand right that knocked down Logan. But for the most part, he was throwing this wild looping overhand right, which I don't know. I know it's the taller opponent, but still, you gotta arc that shot. And that's another thing about Devin Haney. He should have had shorter, more compact shots. He was literally he was looping a lot of punches and winging a lot of punches from way outside. So if the opponent didn't see them punches, then he was blind. Now, looping the punches is good, like Mexican fighters do it, but you can't be doing it all this fucking time, man. More straighter shots down the center. So anyway, KSI versus Logan Paul was kind of the same thing. Logan Paul was keeping KSI off with the jab. He's popping that jab. He was landing that jab quite frequently. The problem with it was, well, not very frequently, but frequently enough. That was the major punch that worked for him. But I thought that KSI did everything else. He power shots. He had jab. He had nice head movement. He had nice body movement. Good cardio. Very aggressive. Basically walked down Paul Logan for Logan Paul for almost the entire fight. And he was also effective with his aggression, even though that overhand right was missing all night. He couldn't land that overhand right? Just like Devin Haney. So again, the thing about Logan Paul that we liked was that Logan Paul wasn't really throwing his right hand. He wouldn't throw that 1-2. And the reason was because if he threw the 2, again, KSI would go to the body and make a line of left hook to the body. So he wasn't really trying to. KSI got caught with one right hand in the entire fight. It did rattle him a bit. But at the end of the day, I think that it was a nice pro fight. It encourages me to want to go do pro boxing. I thought the 2 fights were pretty good. Billy Joe Saunders also had tough competition against the guy that he faced. to retain his title. He did get the stoppage though in the 11th round. I haven't watched that fight yet, but I'm gonna talk about that fight later. But once again, I want to just apologize to 68 Sports TV, also known 60 Years Scrapbook Gold to Wisdom. I think he was right about Devin Haney. I'm not saying that Devin Haney don't have the skills to beat Lomachenko, but he definitely didn't put it together in this fight. He showed me that, yeah, the other guy was a pretty good tall boxer, but he was not in Devin Haney's level, and Devin Haney should have gotten rid of him. He should have knocked him out. It was a unanimous decision win. All scorecards had Devin Haney winning all the rounds, but that's not the point. The point is, you should have got that guy out of there. And you was boxing good enough against the guy, but I mean, the guy was still tagging you with shots you should not have gotten hit with. Your selection of guards sometimes was poor. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that I saw as just a boxing fan that don't know shit about boxing like that told me he not ready for Lomachenko. His decision making, especially, is not the greatest. Okay, and his father's a trainer, is a very good trainer. I like what he said to him concerning not loading up in his punches. But then, where was his father's advice for the remaining rounds? I just don't get it. Where was his father's advice? Was his father telling him calm down? He should have told him calm down, take your time, break this guy down. You know, Devin Haney fought like a guy that, you know, didn't have all this amateur experience, didn't have all this pro experience in boxing. And he's fought better than this times before. But he still wants to make an impression on the new viewership that he basically messed up his own self. And if you can't have that composure and that decorum, you know, in a big fight like a Lomachenko fight, he's not gonna fare well, because even especially if he knocks down Lomachenko. If he knocks down Lomachenko, for example, man, Lomachenko gonna win that fight, because he doesn't have that composure. You need to have that composure, and he did not keep his composure. I mean, he is a young guy; he's only 20 years old, but still, he didn't keep his composure. He didn't. His defense was a little bit wholly and faulty, and then because he didn't keep his composure, that happened to him. And on top of that, he let this guy who was out of the fight, who should have been eliminated from the fight, continue in the fight and employ different strategies to survive. That's not supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? But it's a learning experience for him. He's still young, so he's got a ways to go. As for Gervonta Davis, who's probably the only other guy I think that is a threat to Lomachenko, there's Shakur Stevenson as well, and there's Gary Russell Jr. down below that they could face him. But be honest with you, man, I don't think Richard Comey can beat Lomachenko. I don't think Teofimo Lopez can beat Lomachenko. He's got too much experience. His composure is very good. Even though he has a limited range in which he fights and he goes weak side, he's very, very sharp with what he does. So if you make a mistake, he's going to capitalize on that. And these young bucks, they make too much fucking mistakes, man. The thing with Teofimo, he was getting caught with overhand rights all night long. Now, Haney wasn't getting caught with overhand rights all night long. He had made adjustments, but, you know, he was so fucking wild with his punches, especially the overhand right, the loop and overhand right. What the fuck is wrong with him? And he was just like right happy, you know, because he had knocked out some guy with the right hand. He just got right hand happy. And he was not focusing, and you could tell he was boxing pretty good, but on the outside. But to get to the inside and actually do work, he didn't know what to do. And at a certain point in time, he just went on autopilot and was just launching in. He wasn't even studying, you know, he was just bum rushing the guy and launching in, and the guy would just clinch him up, slip the punch and clinch him up because he could see the punch from a mile away. And the other guy, he was a bit slick, don't get me wrong. He had decent boxing skills, good boxing stance and so on. He was a nice tall guy as well. But he was not in Devin Haney's class, and he should not have been in Devin Haney's class. Devin Haney was supposed to give him the bum treatment, knock him the fuck out, and that would be it. And he did not know what to do when the guy was trying to survive and clinch up. He did not know what to do. So it is what it is, right? But I'm going to check out Billy Joe Saunders versus his opponent. The guy who he faced, by the way, was a guy that was supposed to be a contender. So from the Dominican Republic, I remember Mauricio Suleiman talking about him, that this is the guy that Devin Haney would face. Peter Petrov might have given him a lot of problems too. Maybe not. What I do know is you got to use pivot work. So Devin needs to use pivot work, shorten up on his punches, keep his composure. Even if he's working off the jab, use feints. And do what he did in round number 4 where he dropped the guy. He got to do what he did in round number 4. And he needs to use pivot work. You need to at least move your feet. You can't be just standing in front of a guy. You got to be able to pivot, man. So that's what I got. Now, Inu, by the way, we found out that Naoya Inu's right cheek orbital bone was destroyed by Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire damaged his orbital bone. So for those people who are saying Inu wasn't exposed, like Devin Haney was just exposed, he was exposed. His defense, and I'll tell you why. So in round 2, he damaged him. The dude, like most boxers, gets caught with left hooks. Okay, Sergey Kovalev got caught with a left hook. Inu got caught with a left hook. Even Devin Haney at a certain point in the fight was getting caught with left hooks. So why? Because these fighters, not only do they not keep the phone in the phone booth, but when they're countering, you don't dip below the punch. You need to dip below the punch or roll below the punch. When Floyd Mayweather was getting caught with jabs by Marcus Maidana, what did he do? He would pull counter the jab and then he would roll under, right, and off to the side. Canelo Alvarez does the same thing, so you can get under the punches because you need to get under the punches. Once you get under the punches, you don't have to worry about it. You can come back up with your punch. And so that's what Devin Haney wasn't doing. That's what Teofimo Lopez even didn't do it. When the guy was countering him with the right hand, you're supposed to dip under that and get close to him. But Teofimo Lopez, he don't really got inside game. I just realized that. Devin Haney got inside game. He didn't use it as he should have used it, especially when you're moving from the transition from outside to inside. He should have been able to feint a movement. Once you feint a movement or you freeze up a bit, as you're going to the inside, you let your opponent kind of try to counter you. And that's when, as he's trying to fall in and clinch, that's when you catch him with uppercuts and hooks to the body. And in the clinch, now you work him again. So that's what Devin Haney needed to do. But he could only do that if you're not anxious to try and knock out a guy. You got to keep your composure to see everything. And Canelo showed us that. So that's why I said Canelo's step ahead of all these young bucks out here. But definitely, Lomachenko is not a guy that Devin Haney needs to face right now. And Floyd Mayweather is probably keeping Gervonta Davis from Lomachenko for that very reason. Even though I'm hearing this coming year, Gervonta Davis is going to face Lomachenko. It doesn't matter if he go down to 130 or he stays up at 135. Gervonta Davis. The problem with Gervonta Davis is he blows up like a fucking elephant in between fights. So because now Devin Haney has got that discipline where he stays on point and stays on weight. Gervonta Davis don't do that. So when he starts the pre-training camp into the training camp, motherfucker be big as fuck. Okay, so that's the problem with these guys. He falls with Adrian Broner, eats like a hug, and doesn't really regulate how he take care of his body. So that's the problem with Gervonta Davis. But he does have the skills and abilities. He's sharper than Devin Haney. He's crisper than Devin Haney. He's been doing it longer than Devin Haney anyway. More accomplished than Devin Haney. So we'll see if Tank will end up facing Lomachenko. They're both southpaws. It should be interesting. He don't have the reach advantage though, so Lomachenko going to be able to get on the inside to him. So we'll see how Tank can handle Lomachenko if he can. But that's if Lomachenko won to face Tank. But I think that fight's going to happen next year. So the Uracus Gamboa fight, that's coming up very soon for Tank. We'll see how he fares against Gamboa, and that'll tell us if he can fare against Lomachenko. Because Gamboa is, again, a high activity, high throughput kind of guy with good footwork. That's all I got for now. I'm gonna talk with you guys later. But peace to you guys. Showbiz the Adult and all the other people. I'll check your guys out later. But I just wanted to share this video with you guys before I get out of here. Peace.